I just got back from one of the most beautiful places I have ever been, and I am so excited to tell you about it. What's up, my people? Welcome back. So very glad you are here. I hope you are having a phenomenal day. Man, I am filled to overflowing after having spent a week in one of the most beautiful places I have ever been. And I say a week, I should probably pare that down a little bit. I spent 3 whole days and 2 travel days going to a monastery in Oklahoma, and by the grace of God got to experience unrestrained beauty and truth and goodness. And I want to tell you about what that experience was like and encourage you, if you have never been to a place like this, you should find time to go. So a few months ago, one of my friends at our parish orchestrated and planted the idea of going to Our Lady of the Annunciation at Clear Creek Abbey in Oklahoma. And I jumped on that fast because I knew how incredible this place was, and yet I had no idea how amazing going to the Abbey in Oklahoma would be. For a little backstory, the Abbey at Clear Creek is a Benedictine monastery that was founded by another Benedictine monastery out of France. And I'm not even going to attempt to say the name of the places in France that founded this monastery in Oklahoma, because I will say it terribly wrong, and my priest, who speaks beautiful French, will probably excommunicate me. I'm just kidding, but it's bad. I'm not even gonna try. So we planned this trip, and we've been planning it for, gosh, I want to say like 6, 7, 8 months, something like that. And we finally went this past week, and man alive, I'm still just soaked in the goodness that we experienced on this retreat. You know, it's kind of like standing right over the incense as it's like billowing over you, and when you walk away, you still smell like incense for a few hours. I think I'm going to, I don't even know the word, I'm just going to exude the experience that I had at Our Lady of the Annunciation in Clear Creek. If you've never spent some time at a monastery, I want to really encourage you. Go. Find a place that's close. Find a place that's not close. There was a guy who was staying at the monastery. He got there right before we left. He was from New York. I was like, man, that is a long way. But this place is worth it. I don't care where you are in the United States or in the world. If you can go to Our Lady of the Annunciation at Clear Creek, man, I would absolutely book a flight, reserve a space, get there as soon as you can. And I want to share what I think are 3 things that I received while there. Number 1, I want to encourage you, if you've never done a retreat like this, plan one. Absolutely plan one. You know, we went with the intention of it being a somewhat silent retreat, and I would say it was both and. Like, there was time for community and fellowship because it was a small group of us guys that went, but there was also a lot of time, I mean a lot of time for silence, and a lot of time for contemplative prayer, and a lot of time to just soak in the liturgy that goes on every single day. And as per my usual, I got up at 4, had my own private prayer time that I've been doing for quite a while now, and finished that in time to get to the low mass that happened at the monastery. And this is traditional pre-1969, post-1962 traditional Latin Mass. And the coolest thing about this place is there's a crypt in the bottom. And in that crypt, there are a multitude of little alcoves and a multitude of priests from the monastery saying Mass at the same time. And if you get there early enough in the morning, you can slip into one of these alcoves and participate in what's kind of like your own private Mass with the priest at 7 o'clock in the morning. And it's freaking amazing because it's silent and all you can hear is, and the priest is whispering and he's saying the prayers and he's doing the liturgy, and there's all of the just unbelievable beauty. And the coolest thing about that is that you get to enter into your own time of prayer and let your prayers flow into the river of prayer that the priest and his lay monk are praying together. And it's just amazing. And so from there, the day kind of goes, you know, however I wanted it to go, and would do low Mass, have some time with my friends, have some time to explore the monastery and the grounds around it, and then go to high Mass at 10. And you know, the hard part about this is I'm going to talk about a lot of things that I was not able to either video or photograph, because at that monastery you have to have permission to photograph or video the monks. And it felt wrong to bring my technology and to interrupt these beautiful moments of prayer. So most of what I experienced, I don't have video or picture for, because I didn't want to invade this sacred space with my selfishness. So you go in for high Mass, and the church that they've built on this monastery is just, gosh, you feel like you go back in time to when the church was robust and beautiful and medieval and gorgeous, and the ceilings are like 50 feet tall, and it's stone and brick and arch and icon and stained glass, just beauty everywhere. And the chant echoes and it like reverberates through your body, and you feel connected to this beautiful holy moment as the monks chant and the priest commemorates the Mass, and you partake of the Eucharist kneeling on the tongue with all of the beauty that that entails and all of the goodness that that entails. And you go out from there, and there are additional opportunities for contemplative prayer and silence. I spent a lot of time in the monastery library reading about St. Peter Julian Aymard, and I needed that encouragement that I received in that reading time. You know, it's some more time for fellowship, and you've got more prayer services, more opportunity to join in with the monks and pray. And so we did that, and then we had lunch, and then more prayer, and then another meal, and then more prayer. It's just prayer all day long. And I came into this retreat honestly in a pretty low place and in genuine need of the Lord to do a work in my heart. And there could not have been a better time or a better place for me to receive the healing and the encouragement that I needed from God. And you know, this whole monastery is dedicated to Our Lady, and there's this incredible statue of Mary in the church. And you just know that her presence is there interceding with you and for you at the same time. So that was what it was like every day. That was the rhythm. And I received, one of the things that I received was this realization of how good and how beautiful order is to life. You know, as an artist, we're accused pretty rightly and pretty often of being disordered and chaotic and unreliable and flighty and fill in the word. And I saw firsthand how beautiful it is to have a well-ordered life. Not because you're trying to punish yourself for being flawed, not because you're trying to earn God's love, none of that. You have a well-ordered life because that's the best way to provide the opportunity to hear from God. And I received that, and it just sets me on fire to find ways to order my world in such a way as to commune with God as often as possible. Hey, what's up, my people? Sorry to interrupt the video. Just wanted to be able to say hi to you from the actual place that we're talking about. This is Our Lady of the Annunciation at Clear Creek Abbey. As you can see, it is enormous and it is beautiful, and I've had the best time here. I can't even begin to tell you how great this place is. If you've never been here before and you are looking for a place to get away from all of the insanity that surrounds you, spend some time in silence, spend some time in peace, this is absolutely the place to be. Now back to the video. You know, the other thing that I received is the gift of silence, and realizing how important it is to have silence in our day every day. You know, so much of our world is loud and noisy and chaotic and distracting. And in the silence, there's so much peace. And I don't mean silence by the lack of sound. I mean silence as what Father Bethel from the monastery writes in his book, From Silence to Silence. And in that, what he means by the word silence is, as I would paraphrase it, a harmony of life in which there is no dissonance. There is no noise, distracting, taking away from. And to sit in such beautiful silence for as many days as I was able to, like, it fed my soul in a way I didn't even know I needed. And then lastly, I received a beautiful healing and a beautiful opportunity to restore a lot of the things in me that were broken, that I now get the opportunity to walk out in my day-to-day life. And sometimes we need that. Sometimes we need to get away from all of it, set it to the side. You know, when I was there, I turned off my phone. I made sure my wife and kids were well taken care of. You know, my in-laws came up for the week. Like, just made sure everybody was okay so that when I got there, I could completely disconnect. And I needed that. And I think so many of us in the church need a time to get away and completely disconnect from the insanity that we live in the world every day. We need to get out and just get our feet in the grass and get surrounded by chant and get surrounded by beauty and let the Lord minister to our hearts. And I received that gift from the monastery while I was there. I had no idea just how desperately I needed the Lord to do a healing in my soul. And in the silence and in the beauty, in the truth and in the goodness, I was able to receive what the Lord had for me. And it was so good. The monastery is an incredible place to go and be refreshed and be nourished, be cared for. And I cannot express how thankful I am to the monks who were there, who took care of us, who made sure that we had what we needed, and who gave us space to do what the Lord wanted to do in our hearts. So if you need a place to go, if you need to disconnect, you need a retreat, you need time away, please go to the website. I'll put their website in the description below. Go to the Abbey at Clear Creek in Oklahoma and let the Lord work in your heart. I cannot wait. I'm already like looking at the calendar. Okay, when can I go again? Because it was so good. And you know, like, the monks are taking the time and putting the money in through donations, through help of those outside of the monastery, to build a place that will, Lord willing, last for the next 1,000 years. And I will tell you, having walked around almost all of it when we were allowed to, they're doing it, man. Like, this place is going to be around nourishing and feeding Catholics for the next 1,000 years, Lord willing. And it's just so enriching to see a place where beauty is so intentionally cultivated. And they're not even finished. I don't know how long it's going to take. If I had to guess, I'd say probably another 20 years before they finish this thing. But it'll be worth it. When they're done, when all of the work has been put in, this place is going to be a safe haven of beauty and truth and goodness for Catholics to go and be nourished as these monks commit their lives to prayer. Man, it is just so good. So if you're looking for a place to go and to receive specific, beautiful time with the Lord, I cannot tell you a better place to go. I'm sure there are other places on the planet that are beautiful. I cannot wait for the day when I get to go to Rome and go to the Vatican. All of that will be really good. But right now, this is the single greatest, most beautiful place I've ever been on the planet. And I am better for having sacrificed the time and the money and whatever else it took for me to get there. It was worth everything to go and be in this place and to spend intentional time growing closer to Jesus. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. I hope you're encouraged to take the time, make the sacrifice, put in the work to go to a place like this, to get away and to connect with the heart of God. Because He wants to. He wants to connect with you. He wants to spend intentional time speaking to your heart and encouraging your faith. So make time. Get to a place where you can do that. Hope you have an amazing rest of your day. And until I see you next time, keep climbing.